Our next speaker, this is actually like a home game for him. I think he might have a locker downstairs here in the stadium. He made his way up from just down the road and from Pittsburgh Public Schools. And recently he was promoted to the position of Chief Technology Officer. And he served as interim technology officer for Pittsburgh Public Schools during the pandemic. And prior to that, held IT positions with experience as operations specialist and deputy CTO and interim CTO for the Allegheny Intermediate Unit number 3. He's joining us today to discuss how he and the district are tackling spend reduction, especially as it pertains to indirect technology, and some of the stories of success that we've been able to have as partners with him in the district. So without further ado, please give a warm welcome to Mr. Mark Stuckey.
Thank you. Good morning. I don't think everyone came back to their seats, but that is okay. Yes, so as Justin said, Mark Stuckey. I have the honor to be the CTO of Pittsburgh Public Schools, where I actually graduated from. I'm one of the few that never left Pittsburgh. I stayed here the whole time and was able to come back to my own district and sort of do the things that we needed. The unfortunate part of that is they happened to promote me to CTO during what? The pandemic. Everyone has a pandemic story. Here is mine. So there was no CTO for the district for months. And the leadership team didn't know a pandemic was about to hit. So in the meantime, Mark's sitting there trying to get things moving, and pandemic hits. And they say, we need someone in this position, and we need someone now. And I happen to be there, and they happen to reach out to other suppliers for technology devices. There's device shortages across the nation. No one can find anything. They've happened to find a vendor who promised to deliver 7,000 devices within a month. I was floored because that sounded impossible. But this vendor promised it. And this vendor also put themselves in a position to be the CTO if they could come through with this. So 7,000 devices within a month. So as time went on, I started to realize that this wasn't true. And as time went on, I told them, if we don't pivot now, we're not going to have devices for our students come when school starts. So that date came and gone, and the vendor eventually got the supplier on a conference call with us, and I'm not going to use any of their names, and they basically met with me and the superintendent and told us, unfortunately, all your computers are in China somewhere, and we don't know where they are, and they're not showing up. So I was given the task to solve this problem within a couple of weeks. Who can figure out how that could be done, right? I happen to have a contact with a company that sold refurbished computers. I called them up. I said, I have a problem. Can you help me solve this? They were able to come through for me and provide 7,000 devices, which some of you may have seen on the news if you're from Pittsburgh, where families were lining up with us handing out devices. We were only able to do that because we were able to get these secondhand machines within a short time frame and make that happen. And even though it seemed like we didn't have enough devices, it was just because they sent those devices in phases. So because of that, they were like, you know what, Mark, you're the CTO. So then I was promoted to the CTO because I was able to pull that off somehow. And that's when my whole world and it just turned upside down and started my journey. Now, as you all know, a lot of federal funds came into education. A lot of vendors, a lot of suppliers, really eyes got big because it was a lot of money sent to us. The other problem for me is everyone started coming to me like, hey, Mark, we got this for you. We got this for you. One of my goals was to see how we can reduce spend. How can we save money? So one day, one of our long-term vendors, prior to me being a CTO, came to me and said, hey, Mark, normally you could sign this contract in January, but unfortunately, they changed their licensing, and you have 15 days to either sign on this dotted line for $200,000, and if you don't, it's going to go to $300,000. Brand new CTO, 15 days, sign right now for 200 or 300,000 if you don't. At the same time, PAAS was courting me, like a lot of other companies. And I sat there and I was like, wait, they told me they could help reduce spend. They said they could help negotiate. And I pride myself on negotiating pretty well. But I had 15 days. So I reached out to PAAS and said, hey, I know you guys have been courting me. Here's your opportunity. I have this situation. They took it. They ran their numbers. They did their negotiation. And they literally, once the company found out I was using PAAS, they said, hey, Mark, that 15 days, we could actually make it 30 for you now. They extended the days all of a sudden. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I thought I had to, or it was going to go up to 300,000. Then after that, we started negotiating more. And that 300,000, they got the deal done for me for 80,000. So we saved a ton of money, and I looked like a hero, thanks to PAAS, to the new administration, and yet another win for the district. So for me, moving forward, I didn't understand why every school district, every company isn't using something like this. And for me, it's PAAS, but why wouldn't you? Like I said, I pride myself on negotiating, but there was so much I don't know. There's so many things I can't see behind the scenes that I'm a believer now PAAS can see, or they have. And now they can share that with me, and I can take that to my advantage. Another advantage for me, there was zero spend for the district. Zero. Which, again, for me is a no-brainer. If it's not going to cost me any money to save money, I'm going to do that, and we did. So now this year, we're opening up the floodgates for PAAS and saying, here's everything we have. Help us save money across the board. And this year, we're going to do that, and I'm confident in them, and hopefully it just keeps building to the relationship and the success stories for the district. Any questions? So the 1,000 students we're losing, some are to charters. So for public education, charters like a bad word for us, even though basically they take a huge chunk of our money. But so a lot of charter schools students are going to, some online options now. But no, we're actually, Pittsburgh is growing. More people are moving here. So yeah, it's a unique situation with public education. So sustainability is what I'm thinking of when you ask me that question. So we've committed to a one-to-one district now, and we got to stand behind that. There's a problem. We're $29 million in deficit. And the ESSER funds, which is the federal funds, is only up until 2023, and some is to 24. And they said this is a one-time, that's it. So we have to look and let the board know that we're going to have to continue to put money behind this to sustain this one-to-one, because no one wants to miss out on the opportunity of being the one-to-one and in a couple years saying, oh, close those and just open all the books back up. So I don't want that on my resume, and I don't want that for my children who actually go to the district as well. So sustainability is going to be huge, but we're going to have some commitment from the board and the funds to, like, even if we cut some other things, technology has to stay, and we have to stay with the one-to-one. Oh, someone in the back? I was kidding. Make sure y'all woke up. Anyone else? All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah, no.